Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. The U.S. Supreme Court struck down affirmative action in most college admissions Thursday, upending decades of legal precedent. The High Court had previously upheld affirmative action twice the last 20 years, most recently in 2016. The conservative 6-3 majority decision, written by Chief Justice John Roberts, makes an exception in military academies, as Max Pringle reports.
President Biden immediately voiced his opposition to the ruling.
I strongly disagree with the court's decision.
Biden said the court's decision was based on false premises.
After first meeting the qualifications required by the school, do colleges look at other factors in addition to their grades, such as race?
The decision was based on cases brought against Harvard and the University of North Carolina's admission policies. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote the opinion for the 6-3 conservative majority that the university's admissions policies violated the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause. He also argued that race could still be considered in how it has affected an applicant's life. Critics say the fact that the policy exempts the military academies shows that they realize the value of diversity in some contexts. Amani Gandhi with the group Rewire News Group made that point on the podcast she co-hosts, Boom Lawyered.
He knows that he's just denied Black people access to levers of power, right? Access to becoming senator and president and CEO of a corporation. How do I know that he knows? Because he exempted the U.S. military, right? He exempted military academies from this ban on race-conscious admission, right? Why? Because you can't have an all-white military.
I'm Max Pringle.
The Supreme Court today will issue rulings on whether a business can deny services to LGBTQ people and the president's student loan debt cancellation plan. Advocates for ending student debt, the Debt Collective, has launched a petition calling for Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito to recuse himself from that case, citing a conflict of interest. First unveiled by ProPublica, which reports Alito has taken undisclosed trips financed by a wealthy billionaire, Paul Singer, who's also chair of the Manhattan Institute. It's a conservative think tank that has filed a friend of the court brief urging justices to block the president's student debt relief plan. The Debt Collective wrote on the petition Singer's direct and indirect financial ties to parties in the legal challenge raise serious questions about Alito's ability to decide neutrally and impartially, and demands he recuse himself. Riots continue in France over the police killing of a 17-year-old Algerian for a third day. 875 people were arrested, according to France's Interior Ministry. Many were young, prompting French President Emmanuel Macron to urge parents to keep their children at home. During a crisis meeting on the national outrage over the police killing today, Marseille banned protests today, and the UK has issued travel warnings to the country as authorities say 492 buildings were damaged, 2,000 vehicles torched, and more than 3,800 fires set, according to France's president. California's first-in-the-nation reparations task force wrapped up its historic work with a final meeting and report to lawmakers Thursday, documenting the state's role in perpetuating discrimination against Black residents and suggesting dozens of ways to atone. Recommendations include a formal apology to descendants of enslaved Blacks in the U.S. and financial compensation that could top $1 billion. Ellie Prickett-Morgan reports.
What do we want? When? What do we want? When?
After 30 minutes of public comment, members of California's State Reparations Task Force shared their final reflections on the 2-year process. Democratic State Senator Stephen Bradford, who represents parts of LA County and is a member of the Reparations Committee, pointed out that California's first governor owned slaves and that California had a fugitive slave law that required that runaway slaves must be returned to their owners. And he added that children of slaves born in California were still treated as slaves.
People will say, I didn't own slaves, so why should I have to pay? And I often say, if you can inherit generational wealth, you can inherit generational debt. And this is the debt.
The report includes numerous recommendations. The most controversial recommendation is that Black Californians who can trace their lineage in the United States to the 19th century would be eligible for financial or other remuneration. It does suggest that Black elders be prioritized. The task force estimates that enacting reparations could cost the state $500 billion, a little under double this year's entire state budget. I'm Ellie Prickett-Morgan.
Smoke has blanketed as many as 20 states in the U.S., from the north to the east to the Midwest, as 235 wildfires burn in Canada. Meanwhile, more than 100 million people in the southern, Midwest, and West are under heat warnings. Sweltering triple-digit heat has killed at least 14 people. 12 deaths were in Texas. Forecasters say the heat dome and wildfire show no sign of easing the next week. Experts say the extreme weather events, which claim more lives than hurricanes and tornadoes, will likely increase in the future. Climate scientists say extreme heat deaths will increase without more action to combat climate change. I'm Christina Onnested, reporting for Pacifica Radio.